They've got more than just meatballs. After you've worked up a Scandinavian-sized appetite while furniture shopping, here's a handy-dandy guide for what to chow down at the IKEA food court. Keep in mind that prices and availability may vary by location. We appreciate IKEA's attempt to allow everyone to enjoy their legendary Swedish meatballs, but their veggie balls are, for lack of a better word, a failure. They're made from chickpeas, carrots, peppers, corn, and kale, which all have strong individual tastes. When combined, the textures and flavors simply don't mesh well. They also fall apart pretty quickly, which is a common problem with meat alternatives. But not all hope is lost for vegans and vegetarians. IKEA also offers plant balls, and a review from HuffPost noted that they're similar to the original meatballs, but a little bit grainier. The plant balls are made with ingredients like pea protein, oats, potato, and apple, as well as seasonings like mushroom, tomato, and roasted veggies. And according to IKEA, they're also environmentally friendly, as their carbon footprint is 20 times smaller than their regular meatballs. Lingonberry is a plant that's native to Sweden and commonly found in some of the country's traditional meals. So, in an effort to meld together Swedish and American cultures, IKEA offers Lingonberry BBQ ribs, which boast a sweet marinade. While the effort is appreciated, the result is not so great. The meat is super dry and difficult to eat, while the berry-based sauce is way too sweet. Instead of offering a honeyed, smoky taste profile, the lingonberry flavoring just doesn't hit the mark. Reviewers at least generally seem to like IKEA dishes that come with macaroni and cheese offerings, but you should know that that's available as a separate meal on the kids' menu. If you're looking for a hearty meal, we'd recommend opting instead for the Swedish meatballs. Or if you're on a budget or looking for a quick bite, the hot dogs are also a great option. If they're crispy, seasoned well, and paired with the right dipping sauces, there's really nothing to complain about when it comes to chicken tenders. So we were really rooting for IKEA's chicken tender meal. Unfortunately, they just don't make the grade. According to one review from Business Insider, the battered coating wasn't awful, but the meat inside tasted as if it had been under a heat lamp for multiple days. This resulted in an odd shredded texture that was too hard to bite. In terms of taste, there's also plenty to be desired. The seasoning certainly isn't anything to write home about, as it comes off like salt and breadcrumbs. The French fries and broccoli sides are at least nice additions, but they're not exactly transformative.
You're just a little chicken.
Customers have mixed feelings about IKEA's veggie dogs. They cost only 75 cents, so that's a huge plus. They're cheaper than the regular meat hot dogs, which isn't always the case in the hot dog world. Positive online reviews generally appreciate them because of the dressing that automatically comes on top, which consists of ketchup, mustard, fried onions, and pickled purple cabbage. But not everyone's a fan. A few reviewers have noted that the bun is pretty dry, meaning that it doesn't hold up while you eat it. Overall, this isn't a bad option for plant-based eaters. As IKEA makes big efforts to offer more vegan and vegetarian meals, it's clear that they have more to improve on. But this is a great starting point, especially since they believe that sustainable meat alternative meals should cost the same or less as their meaty counterparts. If you're wondering if Greek salads were actually created in Sweden and that's how they ended up on the IKEA menu, well, that's a nice theory, but it's not exactly true. This dish may not exactly be Scandinavian, but what it is fine, perfectly fine. Greek salads traditionally contain tomatoes, cucumbers, bell peppers, red onions, olives, and feta cheese. Based on the picture on IKEA's online menu, it looks like it has all of those things, though we can't be entirely sure. The description says that it has mixed greens, feta cheese, and a Greek vinaigrette. When Thrillist tested it out, they found that it tasted pretty similar to what you could expect from a grocery store Greek salad, and that it had a reasonably yummy dressing. In short, IKEA's Greek salad is just okay. If you want to fuel up with something on the healthier side, this is a decent enough option, but you might find yourself wanting a little more. IKEA's macaroni and cheese isn't too bad for what it is. It's on the kids' menu, but that doesn't mean that you should automatically discount it if you're an adult. The cheese sauce is super creamy and gooey, and it's thick enough to coat every single piece of elbow macaroni. It's served with a side of broccoli, so you can sneak in some health points regardless of whether you're snagging it for yourself or a little one. There's no ingredient list, so we don't know what cheeses are in this velvety sauce, but if we had to guess, we'd assume they'd be mixed in with a roux, which helps to thicken up most cream-based sauces. There's nothing super special about IKEA's macaroni, but it has enjoyed some rave online reviews. And if there's one thing we love about mac and cheese, it's that it's consistently yummy, comforting, and always manages to hit the spot. And that very much appears to hold true at IKEA.
Ooh, perfect!
Mixed in with IKEA's variety of American dishes are a few unique Swedish ones, including the marinated salmon. It comes with a healthy dose of dill and arrives on a bed of lettuce with a lemon wedge. If you're a salmon lover, there's a solid chance you'll like this. However, a less than positive review from Time Out found it to have a really fishy taste, while the sauce didn't exactly serve much of a purpose. There isn't any information online about how the salmon is prepared, but based on pictures, it's safe to assume that it's raw, presumably similar to sashimi. If that isn't quite your thing, this dish definitely isn't for you. Overall, there aren't many highlights to the marinated salmon. Whether or not you enjoy it will likely depend on your usual culinary tastes. If you're a big sushi eater, you may love it, but if the mere scent of fish makes you wrinkle your nose, you should go for something completely different. Among all of IKEA's plant-based meal options, the burger may just be the very best. There aren't a ton of official details about it online, beyond the fact that it's served with French fries. One positive note came from the website Weird Kaya, who tried a version of the plant-based burger in Malaysia. It doesn't taste exactly like meat, but the appearance is still impressive. It's topped with shiitake mushrooms, which add some nice texture to make the feel of the patty more palatable. The only downfall is the texture. The bun is pretty thin, so it doesn't exactly encase the patty in the most supportive way. Still, it's solid as far as plant-based burgers go, even if there's room for improvement. If you're a pizza snob, you may not be entirely thrilled with IKEA's offerings. However, if you're in a pinch and you're in the market to scarf down a greasy slice of pepperoni, you might actually be satisfied with what IKEA is throwing down. On the store's online menu, they don't detail what types of pizza they have, instead just listing a pizza slice, so the particulars may depend on your location. A review from Time Out at the Burbank, California IKEA was complimentary towards the crisp crust and the tomato sauce. However, the blog All Pizzaholic had some more mixed thoughts. That review noted that the flavors are pretty plain, solely consisting of mozzarella cheese, pepperoni, tomato sauce, and herbs on top. The slices are generously sized though, and the cheese and sauce combo are generally decent. Ultimately, whether or not this pizza is any good will likely depend on your own personal preferences. But it certainly doesn't appear to be the worst option out there, especially given the affordable price point of $1.75. Considering that you could feed yourself or your entire family for just a couple bucks, you can't be mad at this pizza.
Pizza, going tummy, me so hungry.
You won't find the frozen yogurt at IKEA's restaurant, but if you mosey on over to the bistro section, you'll discover that they have some strawberry and vanilla froyo in either a cup or a cone for your enjoyment. Alas, we can't help but hold IKEA accountable for its lack of chocolate. But we are pleased to say that this frozen yogurt is really yummy. It even deserves to be mentioned in the same conversation as Costco's froyo. And what really takes it over the edge is that IKEA's version is priced at only $1. In short, this is the perfect treat to end your day. It's not overly sweet like some of IKEA's other dessert options, but it's still a yummy indulgence to congratulate yourself for getting through everything that the store has to offer. And frankly, you can't argue with the fact that you only have to part with a single solitary dollar.
I'd buy that for $1.
Affordable furniture, fun showrooms, and Swedish meatballs. What more could you possibly ask for in a shopping experience? IKEA's iconic Swedish meatballs unsurprisingly earn a spot in the top 3. And while they're not our absolute favorites at this food court, they're still pretty darn good. They're made from all natural ingredients like pork, beef, onions, and allspice, all of which work together to offer a cozy taste profile that effortlessly blends with the classic gravy. What really pushes these legendary meatballs over the edge is the Lingonberry jam. The flavors are pretty similar to something you'd find on Thanksgiving, but the fact that IKEA serves them any day of the year just makes them that much better. Each Swedish meatball meal is topped off with sides of mashed potatoes and broccoli, ensuring that you have a hearty break between perusing bed frames and shelving units.
It's convenient, it's Swedish, and pretty much for everybody.
We know what you're thinking. How could a simple, lowly hot dog land in the top 2? Here's how. Between IKEA's restaurant and bistro, they offer different options that are all over the gourmet spectrum. There are big breakfast plates, meatballs, sundaes, and traditional Swedish goods. It's debatable whether or not everything is delicious across the menu, but what's not up for debate is how good their hot dogs are. They're small, but they pack a big flavor. They're grilled, but the buns are slightly toasted, and they boast a subtle meaty taste. Unsurprisingly, these hot dogs are a reliable favorite among IKEA shoppers. A big part of that comes down to the shockingly affordable price point of just $1 per dog, while the generous condiment section is an added bonus. Although the veggie dogs automatically come with dressings, these beef and chicken franks can be topped with mustard, ketchup, relish, fried onions, pickles, jalapenos, and more. Our top spot goes to IKEA's phenomenal chocolate gooey cake, which boasts an incredibly fudgy, brownie-like texture. Simply put, this dessert manages to knock it out of the park each and every time. IKEA's chefs bake it to the point where it's perfectly spongy on the outside, but gooey on the inside, similar to a chocolate lava cake. The ingredient list is pretty minimal and really highlights the chocolatey flavor palette. The batter becomes pretty thick while baking, but it only consists of melted butter, sugar, cocoa powder, eggs, and flour. That's it. IKEA also ensures that it uses high-quality ingredients, primarily its UTZ-certified cacao, which is sustainably sourced. Our only complaint about this cake is that it's maybe a little too chocolatey. It has a super rich flavor profile, so a little bit certainly goes a long way. But as long as you're careful not to overindulge, you can pair it with anything from fresh fruit to wine or coffee for a truly delicious end to a furniture-filled day.